Alright, now we're going to look at a dihybrid cross or two-trait cross. This is the most complex we get when we work these out by hand. The rest get so complex we'd have to do by computers, by statistics. So, dihybrid crosses really aren't that difficult. They're just a little tedious. And there are a few points you need to know so that you don't make mistakes. The biggest mistakes that happen are simply in counting and the initial setup of the cross. So let's go through that. Here we have a flower where we have two traits. We're looking at flower color and plant height. So we have two variations of the gene for flower color. We have purple, which is dominant, over white, which is recessive, symbolized by capital and lowercase p. And then we have tall and short plants, two alleles, two different forms of the gene for height, represented by capital T and lowercase t. We're going to cross two purple tall plants that are heterozygous for both traits. Here's the cross we have. Now we're assuming basic Mendelian principles, which means these genes, the P and the T's, are on different chromosomes, so they have the opportunity to be inherited in different random combinations. That's Mendel's rule of independent assortment we talked about. So here is how we do this. This is what I recommend. I recommend going through this process. If you ingrain it, then you'll always remember it. It becomes a habit, and you won't get confused later on. So first of all, if you have any P's together, any T's together, you know it's wrong, because those are going to split apart, principle of segregation, during the formation of egg and sperm, just like we saw with the monohybrid cross. So when you write your possible gametes, make sure you don't have two P's. You're going to have one P and you're going to have one T. Now, because the P's and the T's are on different chromosomes, they can be inherited in different combinations depending on how they line up during metaphase or meiosis. So this capital P could be inherited with that capital T. So that's our first combination. This capital P could be inherited with that lowercase t. That's our next combination. This little p could be inherited with that capital T. And this little p could be inherited with the lowercase t. Same process over here. Capital P could be inherited with capital T. Capital P could be inherited with lowercase t. And then lowercase p could be inherited with capital T. Lowercase p could be inherited with little t. Now we're going to fill in our boxes just like we did with the monohybrid cross. When in doubt, look at the original problem, how it's set up. We have the P's first and then the T's. So let's do the same thing. We're going to group it together, putting the P's first, and then within that, we're going to make sure that we have capital first. And here we go. So the first box is straightforward. We have a capital P, lowercase t. Here, drop the P's down, two capital P's, then a capital T and lowercase t. You could write it this way, where you have lowercase t and then capital T. It means the same thing, but remember, just by convention, we put the capitals first. Continuing on, capital P, capital T, lowercase t, capital P, lowercase p, capital T, capital T, capital P, lowercase p, capital T, lower t. And so we continue this process that we've learned before. Don't make it harder than it is. People they see extra letters and they start to panic. So there's no need to panic. These are the same basic principles that we've seen already with the monohybrid cross. So group your letters again. Remember, capitals go first. P's go first before the T's. Then the capital letters go first. And a good way to do this would be to pause the recording now and then finish it on your own and see if you can get the same answers. Then come back and check it. When you're done, this is what you should have.